Hi everybody. First things first, I got a new HD camcorder. Supposedly it films in 1080. Well, I'll see what the quality looks like when I actually render and upload this, but supposedly that's what it is. Before I was either shooting my videos either with my cell phone camera, which isn't the best, or my pocket cam from like 15 years ago, and that one was horrible. So I don't know how this is going to look, I don't know how it's going to sound. Hopefully I didn't waste my money. I could have gone for the 4K camcorders, but they were like $500 more than just the 1080, and I figured since most of my videos are just me talking about something, I didn't really need like 4K crystal visual quality. I'm not filming short films with this, and nobody wants to see this face in higher def than absolutely necessary. Carl. So, basically, what I wanted to do with this video, aside from introducing the new camera, is talk about something that I'd like to do for an ongoing series. First of all, back when I was still doing the Goosebumps videos with my ex, we had started a GoFundMe to purchase a new camera for this quality. 2 people did donate, and that money did go toward buying this camera, so I apologize if you donated specifically for Goosebumps videos, because obviously those aren't happening anymore unless I do some solo stuff on my own. But they are going to be used for YouTube videos going forward for the most part, almost all of them. So thank you to those 2 people. So since the Goosebumps videos aren't happening anymore, I wanted to start a new ongoing series. And it's not going to appeal to the same people, it's not going for the same fan base or audience. So if those people don't want to stick with me, that's fine. Though I did end up crossing like 2,015 subscribers recently, so I'm still getting subscribers, either from the old videos or from the stuff I'm doing now, which is mostly just soda tastings and stuff. But thank you to those people who have stuck with it or just come up now. But I figured, yeah, I've been doing soda tastings and different like chips and stuff like that, but that stuff's not the best. That's like a 5-minute video about does this taste good or not? No, just because I like soda and stuff. But I wanted to do something a little bit different. Now, obviously, the last few months of my life have not been the best, for lack of a better term. Lately I've been watching a lot more So Bad It's Good movies, sort of ironic movie viewing. And yeah, I always liked The Room and, you know, the MST3K episodes and stuff like that. But the last few months I've been watching a lot more riff tracks, a lot more MST3K, a lot more like bad movies that are for streaming on Netflix and that sort of thing. And I feel like it's maybe too much. Irony certainly is great, but it has its limits. And I find that a lot of YouTube movie reviews are just about ironic viewing in bad movies and about sort of cynical barbs and that sort of thing. Hey, Carl. Hey, Carl. And irony can be fun. It's always fun to watch movies like that, but I also feel like a lot of irony is just sort of about self-aggrandizement and making yourself feel better about something. It's like, I could never make a movie as bad as Birdemic, fuck that guy. And it's just kind of mean-spirited instead of fun. And then when you combine that with the fact that I still see a lot of movies in the theater, and most movies aren't horrible, but a lot of movies being released theatrically lately are like mediocre, maybe like C+, B- level, and that's sort of making me a bit depressed. So I've got So Bad It's Good movies. Carl just tried to jump into the frame. So I've been watching a lot of So Bad It's Good movies and a lot of mediocre movies, and I'm not watching a lot of good movies lately. And movies actually have the ability to be good. Shocker! And a lot of that has been missing. Like this weekend, from the weekend I'm filming this, I saw Wind River, which was really good. And some good movies get peppered in here and there, but there seems a lot fewer and far between. And I mean, as we head into the fall, better movies will be released theatrically. Summer is just kind of, you know, blockbuster, dead zone. But I wanted to do a series of YouTube videos about movies that are good, specifically favorites of mine. Now, I didn't want it to just be favorites that are favorites for everybody, you know, Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Oscar-winning movies. I mean, anybody can make those videos, everybody knows what those movies are, most people love those movies, they're not particularly polarizing or anything, and I figure there's not a lot of material there. But what I specifically wanted to make videos about are movies that I love, that either a lot of people haven't seen, or that a lot of people ignore, or just great movies that just didn't get the recognition that they deserve, or movies that I love but other people just don't really like all that much. So I figured that would be better, because a lot of people, you know, still on the weekends I work at a movie theater. It's my little part-time gig aside from my full-time gig. And I work with a lot of kids in between the ages of like 16 and 25 or something, and a lot of their movie tastes, you know, they don't go back older than the original Star Wars, and they like everything that comes out. It's like, that movie's good, you're just picky, you're just a critic, and maybe I am a little bit because of my background. But I feel like for people like those, especially with the death of like video stores, there's not as much of a opportunity to go and look at older movies. Especially good ones, and not, I mean, you can still see all the famous ones. You want to see Citizen Kane, you want to see The Third Man, there's ample opportunity through streaming and other stuff. But sometimes movies from the 70s, 80s, 90s, I mean, you can go back to like the 60s. I mean, there's after the Turner Classic Movie era, because there's still some cable channels for that, there's not a lot of opportunity to discover these things anymore, so people's taste in movies becomes very myopic. So what I wanted to do is just do a series of videos where I just talk about some of my favorite unsung movies that, you know, maybe in film circles they're pretty well known, but to the average person, especially to people who are maybe one generation younger than me, because I spent a lot of time with them, they just wouldn't have heard of, or they might be like, you know, I've never heard of that. That came out before I was born, and they were born in like 1995 or something. So, I say that so derisively. So I'm going to call this series of these videos, Dave's Faves. It just sounded cute. So, plus, you know, I figure, you know, a lot of YouTube movie reviewers they've stolen my look. I mean, you look at Brad Jones from Cinema Snob. He's bald goatee now. You look at Doug Walker, Nostalgia Critic, bald goatee. Everyone fucking looks like me who reviews movies on YouTube, so I might as well review more movies on YouTube. Plus, because I'm working a full-time job, I'm working a part-time job, and I'm also taking the last class I need for the next degree I'm going for, I don't have a lot of free time to actually type my written reviews, which is why my movie review blog has been dead for a couple months. And when I see all these movies in the theater, because I was writing written reviews for movies that I see in the theater, every one, and the movies that are great, are fun to write about. The movies that are really bad, your God's Not Dead's 2s, your Case for Christ, even maybe your Ghostbusters remake, stuff I like really fucking hate. Those are fun to write, but most movies are middle of the road, and those aren't the funnest reviews to write. So I figured, you know, maybe I can take a little time away from that, and I can just film reviews of, you know, older movies. Not super old, but older movies that I like. Movies I grew up with, movies that, you know, I loved and maybe got some attention now nobody talks about, and that sort of thing. So that's what Dave's Faves is going to do. I mean, if people end up liking these videos and I end up doing a lot of episodes, then maybe I'll get to stuff like Back to the Future and Ghostbusters and stuff that everyone's heard of. But for the time being, I want to focus on movies that are not as discussed in modern film discussion discourse. So, I don't know, this is just like an introductory video about what I'm doing. I don't know when I'm going to have time to do the first episode of this, but I hope within, you know, maybe a week or so, depending on how busy my life is. And I'll go from there. I'll just put them up periodically, I'll just ramble a bit, maybe I'll you know, do some bad editing where I put the little still frames about it and stuff like that, and that's basically what I'm going to be doing. So, if you're interested in this series, I hope you'll stick around and stay subscribed and all that stuff, and that's pretty much all I have to say on this video, and I'm just really hoping that this camera that I bought has decent sound and picture quality when I actually upload it to the internet. So thank you everyone for sticking around, and just petting Carl.